Want to ride to Central New York? Let's go. Welcome back to the program, the head football coach of the Syracuse Orange. Always great to visit with Dino Babers. Coach, good morning. Thanks. Appreciate you being a part of the program.
Good morning. How are you guys
so
doing?
how goes it? We're good. You got one left, right? We got one practice left for the spring for the Orange. Is that where we are?
Yeah, we're at practice. We finished practice 14 on Tuesday morning, and we've got one more tomorrow starting at 6 a.m. And when that gets finished, we'll be finishing up our finals and getting ready for our summer preparation before we go to those strenuous one-a-days that the young people all talk about here in August.
Hey, listen, we know this has been an upside-down year, right? But, man, the good news, Coach, is we're light years ahead of where we were this time a year ago. And I know that people want to put rearview mirror, and you need to put it behind you, which I know you have. So tell us what you've seen so far in this spring practice combination. Give me the good news out of Syracuse.
You know, I think the good news out of Syracuse is we had a lot of young people play, and maybe not by design, but we had to put them out there. And the outcomes of some of those games, or a lot of those games, were not what we wanted. But the one thing that all those young people got was experience. I mean, they played in the ACC. They played against guys that were better than them sometimes, taller, faster, stronger. And it's affected their offseason. They realize how far they're behind as far as from a strength standpoint. I'm talking about our younger freshmen. I want to say we've got 57 out of our 85 scholarships are freshmen. And between the 2 or 3 classes with the special year where the guys get to return. So this is a very, very, very young team with some very knowledgeable, experienced guys in the super senior class, in the junior class, and in the sophomore class. And I'll tell you what, we came in this spring, and our thing we wanted to do is give these young people their entire tool belt and make sure that they had the fundamentals that they needed to have a better outcome versus the competition that you have to play in the ACC. And I'm very, very proud of where these guys are at. I'm very, very proud of where they battled a very physical spring. And, you know, for the ones that survived it and the ones who didn't, we all got better.
You mentioned the young people. When I saw your team in November, it was basically freshman, redshirt freshmen. And I know we were talking, I think we had the conversation in the fall about how roster management would be impacted by the extra year. What kind of scenarios played out for that? And of those younger people who played a lot last year, and I'm thinking about Greenwood and Hannah and Carter and Williams and Stephon Thompson. I mean, which of those guys have you seen, particularly out of the secondary, take a step for you?
You know, I think that all those guys, now some of those guys, as crazy as it sounds, those young people playing in those games, and I'm not going to give you their names, but some of those guys didn't have an opportunity to go through the spring. There was injuries from the fall and playing in guys that were so much older, so much more physical, and now they survived the season, but some of those injuries needed time to recover. And some of those cats had to sit and watch. Not all of them, but some of them. Yeah. And I think that is also going to help us because there's growth in the family. And those guys that had to sit and watch those 14 practices also understand how stressful and how do I say it, how committed everybody was to getting better. And I think they're eager to get their opportunity to get the clearance from the doctor so they can go through their summers and really be ready to join this team in August so we can get back out there and erase some wrongs.
Tommy DeVito seems like he's been there for 15 years. What's the quarterback room like in the competition this spring at quarterback?
The competition's great. You know, I think all those quarterbacks have been competing their tails off. They look much better. But, again, it's going to come down to we need those guys to be the leaders in the room. Our quarterbacks are our racing car drivers for our cars, and we want to get the good Tommy DeVito back, and we're going to see where Garrett can do, and we've got Jacobian and we got Dylan, we got a very talented freshman in Justin, and we think that it's the most competitive room we've had in a long, long time, and they're not done yet. 14 practices is not the end, and we've got to continue that growth over the summer and then continue it during August and see where this stuff all ends up in September.
You know, we talked during the course of the season last year in preparation for games. I know there were highs and lows. You had to almost go blindfolded into each day. You weren't sure what was going to happen. Pack and I used to say something at breakfast might change by lunch, and then by dinner you weren't sure again. What did you take away from a year ago that helps you in what you want to do with this football program? As hard as it was, what do you take away to process to say, hey, we're going to do something. We're not going to do this. We are going to do this type deal.
You know, it really makes me think back to my father. It's, you know, we were a military family. My father was gone a lot, and, you know, we had our daddy rules and we had our mama rules. And when daddy was around, we'd do what in the hell he told us to do. But really, mama was running the show, you know. But it comes down that there was a lot of distractions, and some teams dealt with it better than others. And I don't think we dealt with it that well, and we got too distracted. And when it comes to dad, those dads sometimes the family can have all these different thoughts on what we should do, and then dad's going to come in and say, well, you know what, that's all nice, and I really appreciate all those opinions, but we're doing this. So pack your bags, make up your bed, and we're about to roll out of here. And I think I did a better job of that. There was a lot of distractions. After the season was over, I tried to eliminate as many distractions as I could, and I wanted them to totally focus on the little things of getting better, fundamentally getting better, getting bigger, stronger, and working on their academics, because all those things are going to come into play so that we can be relaxed and really get into a groove in the fall on turning this thing around.
Coach, I've got the perfect follow-up question with that answer. Now that you establish mommy rules and daddy rules, what comes into play when you're an empty nester? How does that work?
I need a dog or something. All I do is I come home and I hear telephone calls with the girls, and I get a hi, and then they get an hour conversations with their moms, you know. But
that's right.
You know, I will say this, Mark. It reminds me of that song. Now, this is an older song. Was it Cats in the Cradle and the Silver Spoon?
Yeah.
Where they grew up to be just like you. I grew up to be just like you, Dad. I grew up to be just like you. I'm one of these guys. I have no problem talking to people face to face, and you know, I kind of like this Zoom FaceTime thing. But put me on a telephone where I can't and hold a telephone to my ear, even though I love to recruit. It's kind of boring. You know what I mean? I'd rather see somebody. And those girls, they're just like their dad. They don't like talking on the phone. I mean, if you're going to talk, shoot me a text message. But I don't have time for all that stuff. But I love the heck out of them. And hopefully during vacation, I'll get an opportunity to see them.
By the way, speaking of, as a follow-up to that, and I was going to ask you this, given the pandemic and what coaches are going through, this transfer portal's got everybody head on a swivel. Name, image, and likeness, another issue coming down that you're going to have to deal with. How do you get away, Coach? How do you reboot from a pandemic year, a tough year that you've already put behind you? You're enthusiastic about what's going to happen in 21. How do you get away from all of this? What's the plan there?
I don't have the answer. I'm terrible. I mean, I'm terrible. Unless my daughters plan the vacation away where I can't do work, you know, I can't get away from it. They know. I mean, I need a destination vacation away with my girls planning everything and telling me what to do, because if not, I'm back in a playbook. I'm back in football. I'm trying to visit coaches while we're at someplace on vacation. You know, God, family, football, that's how I roll, and I don't get real far away from that.
I know the feeling.
Hey, wait. Dino, that sounds like Packer. That's why he's got to go to some desert island or something in order to get away. Because if he doesn't, he'll work. He'll find a way to work.
Coach and I are on the same exact page. I mean, all I like to do is work, and you know, I don't need it anywhere. But you know what? Basically, at some point in time, somebody needs to grab you and say, listen, we're leaving and you're coming with us. And that's kind of what's going to happen to me in a couple of weeks. And it's all girls, Coach. I get it. It's my wife and the two girls. Dad, here's where we're going. Okay, cool, great, whatever. And down the road we go. But I'm with you. I mean, you just keep grinding. That's what you do. That's what you
Just
do.
keep grinding. I'm telling you, it's the truth. That's the gospel.
Yep, sure is.
We have talked about the drastic change from last year to this year. The one thing I know you want to see, and we touched on it during the break, is the Orange faithful in the seats at the Dome come the fall. Last year was just, and we were there for a couple games, Dino, and I had a couple games at Pittsburgh the same way. I know you played one at Pittsburgh that was like it. Empty stadium in college football just didn't feel right, my man.
You know, I had the privilege of working at Texas A&M, and they talked about the 12th man, and it was absolutely amazing down there. If you guys have been there, the 12th man is real in College Station, and this is not about Texas A&M right now. The Dome advantage, the home crowd and playing in the Dome is a huge advantage for Syracuse. And I can't tell you how much that hurt us. And I can't wait to get our fan base back in that brand new stadium that they have not had the pleasure of being in yet. They have not sat in a seat. Those football fans haven't. And to get that place full and to get our 12th man back so that we can have the advantages that we need to have in this conference at home.
Amen.
Great to see you. Best to Susan and the girls, and good luck on that dog.
Hey,
you know,
hey, let me tell you, Coach, let me help you out here, because I'm the dog guy. Wes is the cat guy. Man's best friend. When you need somebody to talk to, and we just did a billboard with Chester looking at me with his head tilted. Dogs know, man. Dogs can connect. I'm just telling you.
I'll tell you what. Here's my connection story. I've got a picture up in my office of our German Shepherd that we had. Her name was Coda, and the dog has passed away. We put the dog down, but it was 13 years. Unbelievable dog. And the picture is me sitting on the porch with the dog. It's taken from the back. I'm on the porch on the phone with a recruiting call. The dog is sitting right next to me. Okay. There's a squirrel. The squirrel is running across the front of the yard. The dog is looking at me like, "Can I go get the squirrel?" And I'm going, "You can't get the squirrel," while I'm making the recruiting call. But I'm telling you, for a football coach, I mean, I've never been a cat guy. I'm sure cats are really nice, but there's something about having that DOG next to you to take some long walks, and that really makes you right. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be small, but I kind of like those dogs.
Yeah, they know, man. They can pick up on all your vibes. They get it. They totally get it. I'm with you.
Hey, stay well. We look forward to connecting with you again. Have a great summer.
Guys, let's do it again soon.
You got it, Coach. Best of luck.
You got it. Dino Babers, head football coach at Syracuse. Appreciate his time. Stay tuned. Rachel DeCoco is next, helping us get ready for a big ACC Women's Lacrosse Championship that starts later today. In fact, at high noon, a quadruple header right here on ACC Network.